A former beauty queen running the police investigation into Poppi Worthington's death admitted she did not know how to deal with the death of a child. Detective Inspector Amanda Sadler, who was the 1989 Miss Great Britain, had no experience of leading an inquiry into child death, and was not qualified to be a senior investigating officer. The 51-year-old had also not completed a child death course and had never read Basic Investigation Protocol, an inquest heard. Basic steps, laid out in black and white in a document known as Chapter 13, were not carried out, Coroner David Roberts said. It came as Poppi's father Paul Worthington refused to say why the toddler's DNA was on his genitals before she died amid accusations of a bungled police investigation. Forensic evidence was not sent for testing for months. The bed sheets where Poppi collapsed were not collected and her body was not swabbed for evidence for 5 days. The extraordinary admissions were made as the shamed policewoman gave evidence to the inquest into Poppi Worthington's death on Thursday. Detective Inspector Amanda Sadler, pictured, had no experience of leading an inquiry into child death, and was not qualified to be a senior investigating officer. A court drawing of Paul Worthington, 49, who sobbed when he was asked if he abused his daughter but refused to say at her inquest. Poppi Worthington died in December 2012 after she collapsed at home at Barrow-in-Furness. In January 2014, a judge ruled that her father probably sexually assaulted her before her death. A family court judge ruled that Paul Worthington sexually assaulted the 13-month-old in their Barrow-in-Furness home hours before she died. But police bungles meant that the case has never reached court, and Worthington, who gave evidence to the inquest, remains a free man. Mrs. Sadler admitted gross incompetence and was demoted to sergeant, but retired in September 2016. Yesterday she said, "I wasn't at that time an SIO or trained to that level. I hadn't undergone any child death training." She admitted, under questioning from the Mr. Roberts, that she had never read a document called Chapter 13, which lays out the protocol for investigating a child death. Mr. Roberts said, "Did you read it after you were given the case?" Mrs. Sadler replied, "I didn't read it on the day. I have read it since." Her supervisor, Detective Superintendent Mike Forrest, admitted he had never heard of some of the steps laid out in the document the inquest heard. He was found to have a case to answer for gross misconduct. He retired aged 48 on a full pension before his disciplinary actions could be taken. She was smuggled out of the back door of the court under police guard to evade police photographers. Mr. Worthington was accused of sexually abusing 13-month-old Poppi shortly before her tragic death in 2012, but he escaped prosecution amid claims of a bungled police investigation. Police again helped Worthington, pictured with a hood and scarf over his face, who is unlikely to face any criminal action without new evidence, in and out of the inquest today, where he refused 252 questions. Worthington left the inquest with his face down in the seats of his car as it emerged he is in witness protection after receiving threats.